כמוך. הריני מקבל עליי את מצוות הבורא, ואהבת לרעך כמוך, רעך כמוך. הריני מקבל עליי את מצוות הבורא, ואהבת לרעך כמוך, לרעך כמוך.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Wonderful to welcome you this morning to Northwood and Pinner Liberal Synagogue, whether you're watching from Northwood or Pinner or Chorleywood or Watford or anywhere else in the world where you might be watching from. It's been our custom to join together in placing the talit over our shoulders, and whether you have a talit at home or not, we invite you to feel as we recite the blessing and place our talitot on our shoulders. We invite you to feel with this blessing the hug that we give you virtually to home, how your community still surrounds you even if we can't be physically in the same space. And so we say the blessing together. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehitatef b'tzitzit.
And we sing together. Ma tovu, ma tovu, ma tovu alecha Yaakov, Mishnotecha Yisrael, Mishnotecha Yisrael, V'ani berov chastecha ahavo veitecha, Eshtachave, Eshtachave, Ehechal Kodshecha, Be'yiratecha, El Hechal Kodshecha, Be'yiratecha. Adonai ahavti me'on beitecha, Umekom mishkan kavodecha, v'ani eshtachave ve'echra evrecha lifnei Adonai osi. V'ani tefilati lecha Adonai, et ratzon, Elohim, berov chastecha, aneni be'emet yishecha.
If you chose to stand, you may be seated. Eternal God, a mystery surrounds my life. What came before it and what lies beyond it are shrouded in darkness. But in the darkness is your presence, and in the mystery your love. No mind can grasp the splendor of your being, no tongue express the majesty of your works. Yet there are times when we sense a reality that is beyond our mortal sight. May the Sabbath be such a time for us. Help us to hear your voice, to find your image in our souls, and to be at peace.
Elohai, neshama, shenatata bi, Elohai, neshama, shenatata bi, tehorahi, tehorahi. נשמה שנתת בי, שנתת בי, אלוהי. נשמה שנתת בי, שנתת בי, טהוראי, טהוראי, טהוראי. אלוהי, נשמה שנתת בי, שנתת בי.
My God, the soul that you have given me is pure. You created it, formed it, and breathed it into me, and you sustain it within me. So long as there is a soul within me, I will give thanks to you, Eternal One, my God and God of my ancestors, Sovereign of all worlds, guide of every human soul. We praise you, O God, in whose hands are the souls of all the living, and the spirits of all flesh.
Baruch she'amah v'haya ha'olam. Baruch hu. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech ha'olam.
המהולל בפי עמו, משובח ומפואר בלשון חסידיו ועבדיו, בשבחות ובזמירות, נגדלך ונמליכך, מלכנו יחיד, חי העולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, מלך מהולל, בתשבחות.
To you the stars of morning sing. From you their radiance bright did spring. And steadfast in their vigils day and night, your angels, flooded with fervour, ring your praise. They teach the holy ones to bring into your house the breath of early light. Hallelujah. Hallelujah, Bekocho, Hallelujah, Bekiruzo, Hallelujah, Bigavurotav, Hallelujah, Kerov Gudlo, Hallelujah, Hallelujah, Bateka Shofar, Hallelujah, Hallelujah, B'nevel v'chino, Hallelujah, B'tov u'machol, Hallelujah, B'minim ve'ugav, Hallelujah, Hallelujah, B'tziltzilei shama, Hallelujah, Hallelujah, B'tziltzilei teruah, Kol ha-neshama tehalel, tehalel ya. Hallelujah.
ישתבח שמך לעד מלכנו, האל המלך הגדול והקדוש בשמיים ובארץ. כי לך נאה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו, שיר ושבחה, הלל וזמרה, ברכות והודאות מעתה ועד עולם. ברוך אתה אדוני, הבוחר בשירי זמרה. ברכו את אדוני המבורך.
Baruch Adonai HaMavorach, Leolam Vaed. Praise be the one to whom our praise is due.
We praise the Eternal One, to whom our praise is due forever.
I'm giggling because every now and then, when one takes a breath, we're trying to do everything by intuition, but sometimes it slightly breaks down. But It's wonderful to be able to hear so many of our choir members singing along with us. We've got all the Joes singing along with us. I know that Marsha Priddy is singing along with us, the Lees. It's fantastic that you're all joining in with us this morning. And even though Mum and Dad don't do Facebook, I'm sure that they're singing along with us as well, as with so many of our choir members.
They can comment on YouTube as well.
I don't know if they've worked that one out yet, but it's just so amazing to have all of you here. We've got Marsha Priddy saying that she's singing alto, so if you want to join her, please do. You form light and create darkness. As time is a tapestry of day and night, our lives are a weaving of light and dark. Like a slow dawn, we discover who we are. Like twilight, we linger in doubt and anxiety. We endure nights of rejection by others and ourselves, and bright days of acceptance and joy in who we are. You make peace and create everything. We look around and see a world of endless change and diversity. As we rejoice in the variety of creation, we come to accept our own uniqueness. As we delight in our own uniqueness, we appreciate all human diversity and live at peace with ourselves and with all creation. Baruch atah Adonai, Yotzer HaMe'orot. And together, Ahava Rabbah Ahavtanu Adonai Eloheinu, Chemla Gedola V'Terach Hamalta Aleinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Ba'avur Avotenu Shabbatechu V'cha, V'telamdem Chukei Chaim, Ken Techonenu Utelamdenu, V'ten Belibeinu Lahavin Ulahaskil, Lishmoa Lilmod Ulalamed, Lishmo V'La'asot Ulekayem, Et Kol Divrei Toratecha Be'ahava. והננו בתורתך, ודבק ליבנו במצוותיך, ויחד לבבנו לאחווה וליראה את שמך. קיוונו ברכתה ליחדך באהבה. ברוך אתה אדוני, הבוחר בעמו ישראל באהבה. Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לעוד על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, אתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני, אני אדוני, אני אדוני אלוהיכם. אני אדוני, אני אדוני, אני אדוני אלוהיכם. אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני, אני אדוני, אני אדוני אלוהיכם. אני אדוני, אני אדוני, אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Who is like you, God of mystery and majesty, distant and present, thundering and quiet, the beginning and the end, the atom and the cosmos, the darkness and the light, the one and the all, pillar and foundation, artist of sea and sky, author of the miraculous and the mundane, source of life, blessing and sustaining creation. Who is like you, glorious in holiness, to whom we praise, to whom we give thanks, the God who redeemed us from Egypt, the God who parted the sea, the God to whom Miriam and Moses led us in song.
Of Israel, sustain your people Israel. For you, God of the hosts of heaven, are our Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel.
We praise you, O God, Redeemer of Israel.
na 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 ufi yagid tehilatecha. Baruch
Ata Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, v'Koneh Hakol, v'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך חוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. את גיבורה לעולם שדי, מחיה מתים את רבה להושיע. משיבה הרוח ומורידה הגשם, מזריחה השמש ומורידה הטל. מחלקת חיים בחסד, מחיה מתים ברחמים רבים. סומכת נופלים ורופאה חולים, ומתירה אסורים, ומקיימת אמונתה לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעלת גבורות, ומי דומה לך גבורה ממיתה ומחיה ומצמיחה ישועה. ונאמנת את להחיות מתים, ברוכה את שדי, מחיה המתים. נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאיך. קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוא כל הארץ כבודו. God's glory fills the universe. ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. From your concealment, majestic one, reveal yourself and rule over us, for you are our hope. ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהי ציון, לדור ודור, Hallelujah. From generation to generation, we will make known your greatness. To the end of time, we will proclaim your holiness. Your praise, O our God, shall never depart from our lips. We praise you, Eternal One, the Holy God.
It is quite fantastic and awe-inspiring to see your messages. From Alden, you couldn't give us a greater beginning to our Shabbat service. To Ben and Joy, who are saying that this morning they don't feel isolated, that it's fantastic to be joining everybody for Shabbat. From people all around the UK and abroad, we feel truly inspired, just as you inspired our ancestors to hallow this day for your service. When upon its coming we pause to contemplate our life, we learn anew that we do not live by bread alone, but especially by the spiritual nourishment we receive when we open ourselves to your influence. We thank you for the Sabbath day and for the opportunity it offers to enhance the quality of our lives. We thank you for its joy and for its peace. May our worship help us to take into our hearts its message of holiness and consecrate all our days by devotion to what is true, beautiful, and good. Yismechu b'malchutcha, Yismechu b'malchutcha, Shomerei Shabbat v'korei honeg, Am Kadshei Shvi'i, Am Kadshei Shvi'i, Kulam Yisbehu v'yitanu mituvecha, V'hashivi ratzita bo v'kidashto, V'hashivi ratzita bo v'kidashto, Chemdat yamim oto karata, Zecher Lema'aseh Bereshit. And together, our God and God of our ancestors, may our rest on this day be pleasing in your sight. Sanctify us by your commandments, make us loyal to your teaching. Satisfy us with your goodness, gladden us with your salvation, and purify our hearts that we may serve you in truth. In your gracious love, eternal one, let the holiness of your Sabbath enter our hearts, and may all Israel who hallow your name be exalted by its peace. We praise you, O God, for the holiness of the Sabbath. Eternal God, be gracious to your people, Israel, and in your love accept their prayers. May our worship now and always be acceptable in your sight. We praise you, O God, whom alone we worship in reverence. Modim anachnu lach, שאתה הוא אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו לעולם ועד. צור חיינו מגן אישנו, אתה הוא לדור ודור. נודה לך ונספר תהילתך, על חיינו המסורים בידיך, ועל נשמותינו הפקודות לך, ועל ניסיך שבכל יום עמנו, ועל נפלותיך וטובותיך, שבכל עת ערב ובוקר וצהריים. ברוך אתה אדוני, הטוב שמך, ולך נאה להודות. שים שלום, שים שלום, שים שלום, טובה וברכה, חן וחסד ורחמים עלינו ועל כל ישראל עמך. שים שלום, שים שלום. Grant peace, welfare, and blessing, grace, love, and mercy to us and to all Israel, your people. As a loving parent, bless us with the light of your presence. Eternal God, you have revealed to us the law of life, a love of kindness and righteousness, blessing and mercy, life and peace. For it is good in your sight that your people Israel and all peoples be blessed at all times with your gift of peace. We praise you, O God, the source of peace. Oseh shalom bimromav. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol bnei Adam ve'imru Oseh shalom bimromav. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol bnei Adam ve'imru Shalom bimromav. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol bnei Adam
We turn now to our Torah reading, Kriyat HaTorah. It's always a privilege to be able to read Torah. It's a privilege that we are able to share with all of you what actually the Torah inside looks like because of our wonderful tech support from Leo and John, who have enabled us to have a Torah camera. So if you have not previously joined us for a Saturday morning service, you're in for a treat. Ben and Joy had noticed correctly that it seems like there is a scroll missing. But don't worry, the scroll has not gone astray. The scroll has gone on a little journey.
It's going to reappear next week. We don't want to give too much
It'll
away, but it's going to reappear next week.
Don't worry.
It is not
with
lost.
Great bravado. It is not lost, and it's also actually a wonderful occasion to be able to house our little Torah scroll in our main ark, which normally is in our small ark in the community center. So watch out for our little scroll, which you might not have seen so
And
often.
whilst we're on the subject of scrolls, just for a short moment, we're going to be reading from our newest scroll, which we commissioned for our 50th anniversary as a community this morning. But the small scroll we call it the Harris scroll. It originates from the Harris family. And there's no one left within our community or probably watching today from that family. Michael Harris, Zichrono Livracha, donated this scroll to our community. Normally it's housed in our community room, looking over all of our activities in there. But perhaps another week we ought to read from it as well.
Absolutely.
And bring that out. We're very proud of all of our scrolls, and especially the opportunity that it gives us, the privilege to be able to remember people like Michael Harris and his family, and also with our Czech Torah scrolls, the Czech communities that were lost within the Holocaust. We are the people that maintain their memories, keep their memories alive by using their Torah scrolls. There is none like you, Eternal One, among the gods people worship, and there are no deeds like yours. Your sovereignty is everlasting. Your reign endures from age to age. Ein kamocha ve'Elohim Adonai, ve'ein kamasecha. Malchutcha malchut, kol olamim u'memshaltecha bechol dor vador. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai yimloch, leolam va'ed. Adonai oz le'amo yiten, Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Gadol Shemo.
גדלו לאדוני איתי ונרוממו שמו יחדיו.
לך אדוני הגדולה והגבורה והתפארת והנצח והחוד כי כל בשמיים ובארץ. לך אדוני הממלכה במתנשא לכל לראש. And in a few moments when we have said the bracha together, we will join up with the book of Leviticus towards the end of chapter 9. Aaron is officiating over the first offerings within the newly commissioned tabernacle. And there is a real emphasis on what is right and what is wrong, a correct way of practicing. Sometimes when we are singing songs within our service, we get a comment afterwards, such as, "That wasn't the right tune." Well, we all have our own right and wrong tunes, and it doesn't cause too much harm because you pretty much know if you didn't hear your favourite one this week, you'll get it next week. But in the tabernacle, it was a very, very serious business, as you will see as you read the translation in a few moments. Baruch hu et Adonai hamvorach.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר ברך בנו מכל העמים ונתן לנו את תורתו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
וישא אחרון את ידיו אל העם ויברכם, וירד מעשות החטאת והעולה והשלמים. ויבוא משה ואחרון אל אוהל מועד, ויצאו ויברכו את העם, וירא כבוד אדוני אל כל העם. ותצא אש מלפני אדוני, ותאכל על המזבח את העולה ואת החלבים. ויה כל העם, וירונו ויפלו על פניהם. ויקחו בני אחרון, נדב ואביהו, איש מתחתו, ויתנו בהן אש, וישימו עליה קטורת, ויקריבו לפני אדוני אש זרה, אשר לא ציווה אותם. ותצא אש מלפני אדוני, ותאכל אותם, וימותו לפני אדוני. ויאמר משה אל אחרון, הוא אשר דיבר אדוני לאמור, בקרבי אקדש, ועל פני כל העם אכבד. Vayidom Aharon. Vayikra Moshe el Mishael ve'el Elzaphan b'nei Uziel dod Aharon. Vayomer aleichem, kirvu su'u et achechem me'et panei hakodesh al michutz lemachaneh. V'yakrivru v'yesu'u b'tonatom el michutz lemachaneh. Kasher diber Moshe. Vayomer Moshe el Aharon ve'ul Elazar ule'itamar ban Alv. Rashechem al tifra'u, uvigdechem lo tiframu, v'lo tamutu, va'al kol ha'eda yiktsof. Va'achechem kol beit Yisrael yivku, et hasreifa asher saraf Adonai, umipetach ohel moed, lo teitzu, pentamutu, kishemen mishchat Adonai alechem. V'yis'u kidva Moshe. V'yidaber Adonai el Acharon lemor. Yaim v'secha al teisht. Ata uvinecha itach. Bevoachem el ohel moed. V'lo tamutu. Hukat olam ledorotechem. Ulehavdil bein hakodesh uvein hachol. Uvein hatameh uvein hatachol. Ulchorot et b'nei Yisrael et kol hachukim asher diber Adonai aleichem b'yad Moshe. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tocheinu. Baruch atah Adonai notein haTorah.
Baruch Shenatan Torah le'amo Yisrael b'kedushato. Our Haftarah reading is from the second book of Samuel. It connects to our Torah portion because just like in our portion in Parashat Shmini, here too we seem to hear the story of an unexplained or almost, it's seemingly unexplained deaths at the hand of God. It's a story of David bringing the Ark of the Covenant to Jerusalem, and it's pretty self-explanatory, and we'll read it together. Before that, please do join me from home in the blessing. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher behar nvi'im tovim, v'ratza b'divreihem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai, habocher b'torah u'v'Moshe avdo, u'v'Yisrael amo, u'v'nvi'ei ha'emet v'tzedek. David again assembled all the picked men of Israel, 30,000 strong. Then David and all the troops that were with him set out from Baalim of Judah to bring up from there the ark of God, to which the name was attached, the name Lord of Hosts enthroned on the cherubim. They loaded the ark of God onto a new cart and conveyed it from the house of Abinadab, which was on the hill. And Abinadab's sons Uzzah and Ahio guided the new cart. They conveyed it from Abinadab's house on the hill, Uzzah walking alongside the ark of God, and Ahio walking in front of the ark. Meanwhile, David and all the house of Israel danced before the Eternal One to the sound of all kinds of cypress wood instruments, with lyres, harps, timbrels, sistrums, and cymbals. But when they came to the threshing floor of Nason, Uzzah reached out for the ark of God and grasped it, for the oxen had stumbled. The Eternal One was incensed at Uzzah, and God struck him down on the spot for his indiscretion, and he died there beside the ark of God. David was distressed because the Eternal One had inflicted a breach upon Uzzah, and that place was named Perez Uzzah, as it is still called. David was afraid of the Eternal One that day. He said, "How can I let the ark of the Eternal One come to me?" So David would not bring the ark of the Eternal One to his place in the city of David. Instead, David diverted it to the house of Obed-Edom, the Gittite. The ark of the Eternal One remained in the house of Obed-Edom, the Gittite, 3 months, and the Eternal One blessed Obed-Edom and his whole household. It was reported to King David, "The Eternal One has blessed Obed-Edom's house and all that belongs to him because of the ark of God." Thereupon David went and brought up the ark of God from the house of Obed-Edom to the city of David amid rejoicing.
Baruch
Atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, tzur kol haolamim, tzadik b'chol hadorot, ha'el ha'ne'eman, ha'omer ve'oseh, hamdaber u'mkayem, shekol dvarav emet v'tzedek. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל הנביאים ועל יום השבת הזה שנתת לנו אדוני אלוהינו לקדושה ולמנוחה לכבוד ולתפארת. על הכל אדוני אלוהינו אנחנו מודים לך ומברכים אותך. יתברך שמך בפי כל חי תמיד לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
And we continue together. Eternal God, whose dominion embraces the universe, we ask your blessing for our Sovereign Lady Queen Elizabeth and all the royal family, for those who govern our country, and for all who influence the quality of its national life. Make them conscious of their responsibility and teach them to exercise it in accordance with your will. May we all help to fashion in this country a society that excels in freedom and justice, tolerance and compassion, so that it may be a force for righteousness and peace in the life of humanity.
Eternal God, as you blessed our ancestors in generations past, bless now this congregation, its leaders and its members, and all who enter this synagogue to meet, to study, and to pray. Comfort the sorrowing hearts among us, and heal those in anxiety or pain. May we all find here community and friendship, renewal of purpose and hope, a deeper understanding of our heritage, and a sense of your abiding presence. Bless all congregations of the House of Israel throughout the world. Let those who live under oppressive rule soon be freed, and may we all unite to witness to your truth and do your will.
And together, eternal God, our rock and redeemer, grant
blessing to the state of Israel, created to fulfill an age-old dream, and to be a haven for the oppressed. Inspire its leaders and citizens with faithfulness to the aims of its founders, to develop the land for the benefit of all its inhabitants, and to implement the prophetic ideals of liberty and justice.
May they live in harmony with one another, and in peace with their neighbors, and cause to come true once more the ancient vision, that out of Zion shall go forth Torah, and the word of God from Jerusalem. Yehalelu et Shem Adonai, ki niskav shemo levado.
Hodo al eretz v'shamayim, vayarem keren ve'amo, tehillah lechol chasidav, livnei Yisrael, am karov. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Behold my Torah I give to you, do not forsake it. It is a tree of life to those who hold it fast, and all who cling to it find happiness. Its ways are ways of pleasantness, and all its paths are peace.
Hashivenu Adonai elecha v'nahashuva Chadesh yameinu kekedem Chadesh yameinu kekedem.
Thank you for the proofreading. It's really important to note these things because we see them in the service and then we forget about them swiftly again. So thanks for putting our typos in the comments so we can check on them later on. We are living in a strange period of both public and personal grief. First and foremost, there is the very personal grief experienced by sadly so many who have lost a loved one in the past few weeks. But even those who are fortunate enough not to have been touched by this most personal grief are experiencing grief in many forms at the moment. Who hasn't looked at their diary and thought about all they have missed out on during the past few weeks? Cancelled life cycle celebrations, holidays, outings to the theatre, visits with family and friends. Without wanting to equate this grief with the grief of bereavement, we should be allowed to acknowledge the pain we feel when we reflect on those losses as well. And then there is, of course, also our public grief, for a way of life that may not return for a long time. How much do we now long for these simple gestures of greeting others with a handshake or a hug, being able to just pop round to your neighbors or the supermarket? How much do we miss hearing our fellow congregants sing, whether in tune or out of tune? How are we to deal with our personal and our public grief? How are we to make sense of the seemingly inexplicable, invisible danger of coronavirus, which is changing our lives so profoundly? How do we keep going in the face of it? In this week's Torah portion Shmini, we read the brief but troubling story of Nadav and Avihu, sons of Aaron the high priest, who die young and inexplicably. It is a harrowing scene. Now Aaron's sons, Nadav and Avihu, each took his fire pan, put fire in it, and laid incense on it. And they offered alien fire before the Eternal One, which God had not commanded them. And fire came forth from the Eternal One and consumed them. Thus they died before the Eternal One. The text is opaque. It is not clear precisely what Aaron's sons have done to so incur the wrath of God. And Aaron, having just witnessed the fiery death of two of his sons, responds with silence. Vayidom Aharon. Rabbi Dr. Lisa Edwards, a Reform colleague from the US, asked how we might explain Aaron's silence. She observes, silence by its very nature is inscrutable, and therefore can mean anything, from grief to fear, to shock, to anger, to indifference, to approval, anything. The Hebrew word that tells us of Aaron's silence, yidom, hints at an explanation, she points out. There are a number of words in biblical Hebrew that mean silent, but the root of the one used in this passage can also mean wail, as in groan or lament, suggesting that Aaron's silence is from grief, as we might suspect. Perhaps we are wrong to hear it as silence at all. Maybe we ought to be hearing Aaron wailing and groaning. The 19th century Rabbi Eliezer Lippmann Lichtenstein also focuses on the choice of Hebrew words used to describe Aaron's silence, but reaches a different conclusion to Rabbi Edwards. He contrasts the word chosen for Aaron's response, vayidom, with a more commonly used word for remaining silent, vayishtok. Although the two terms appear to be synonymous, Rabbi Lichtenstein finds an important difference in nuance between them. Whereas vayishtok suggests abstaining from speaking, weeping, groaning, or any other outward manifestation, vayidom connotes inner peace and calmness of spirit. The Torah describes Aaron with this latter term, Lichtenstein argues, in order to emphasize that his heart was at peace and his spirit calm even internally. He did not question God's way, but accepted God's decree. I think many of us can recognize that there are indeed different types of silences. Our own silences in response to our own grief, and other people's silences. There are silences that are filled with wailing and groaning, and then there are silences of quiet acceptance, of recognition that this pain too shall pass. When reflecting on Parashat Shmini and its accompanying Haftarah, which relates the story of another inexplicable death at God's hand, I find myself wondering whether we have inherited these stories in order to make sense of them, or whether the opposite is true, that these stories are supposed to remind us that the inexplicable will inevitably happen, that as much as it pains us, there is often simply no explanation, no identifiable cause, and no lesson to learn. But that this too is part of the human experience, and that it is okay when it leaves us speechless. It is okay for our silence to be one filled with wailing or with peaceful acceptance, and we should never have to feel like we have to hide these emotions. It is probably no coincidence that our Torah portion also introduces us to a central classification in Judaism. In Leviticus 10:10 it states, "For you must distinguish between the holy and the profane, ulehavdil bein hakodesh uvein hachol." This classification into profane and sacred is what the French sociologist and philosopher Émile Durkheim described in 1912 in his book Elementary Forms of the Religious Life as the one common characteristic of all known religious beliefs. Ulehavdil bein hakodesh uvein hachol. To distinguish between the holy and the profane. What is the purpose of this characterization? According to one of the leading scholars of religious ritual, Dr. Catherine Bell, the power of the characterization doesn't lie in the fact that something might be either holy or profane, but that the separation allows us to create rituals of transition from one to the other. Basing her analysis on Durkheim, Bell suggests that rituals allow us to transform our ordinary and profane experiences into something sacred that help us bond as a community. This is what we do when we gather as a community to say Kaddish, or when we hold public moments of silence. Rather than experiencing our grief in isolation, Judaism invites us to share it with others, to share our silence, our sadness, and maybe even our anger and frustration. And Judaism invites us to transform these emotions from something profane into something holy. As we reflect on and acknowledge our grief, may this Shabbat also remind us of the power of coming together in formal or informal rituals, be it a Zoom shiva, a streamed service, or an informal check-in with each other, which allow us to transform our experiences, even if they are painful, into something holy. Our tradition recognizes that life is messy and difficult, and sometimes feels like we are trapped in the profane. Yet this is exactly where we are charged to find holiness. So let me conclude with a story told about the Dubna Maggid, included in the themed reading for this week in Lev Chadash. The Vilna Gaon, the mightiest scholar of his time, asked the Dubna Maggid once to tell him his faults. The Maggid at first declined. Finally, upon being pressed, he said this: "You are, of course, the most pious man of your age. You study night and day, retired from the world, surrounded by the rows of your books, the holy ark, the faces of devout scholars. You have reached a high degree of holiness. But go down into the marketplace, Rabbi, with the rest of the Jews. Endure their works, their stains, their distractions. Mingle in the world, hear the skepticism and irreligion they hear. Take the blows they take. Submit to the ordinary trials of the ordinary Jew. Let us see then if you will remain the Vilna Gaon." They say the Gaon broke down and wept. Yes, it is hard to be a Jew, and harder still to be a good Jew, but to make the attempt to mingle with the world and sanctify it, to release the sparks of holiness that are everywhere, even in the marketplace, that is our task. Ken Yehi Ratzon, for this is God's will.
Amen. We now move to our concluding prayers. Aleinu
לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, אשר שם חלקנו לייחד את שמו, וגוהר עלינו להמליך מלכותו, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובהי מרומים. הוא אלוהינו העינות, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות אל לבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים, בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת עינות. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. Creator of the universe, you give us life in which joys and sorrows are commingled in accordance with your wisdom, and you send death with its promise of eternal peace. Teach us to accept humbly and courageously whatever burden is laid upon us. Comfort those who mourn, and let the light of faith illumine the darkness of their sorrow with the hope of immortality. Strengthen us at all times with an unfailing trust in your providence. On this Shabbat, we think of those whose yahrzeit falls at this time. June Cohen, the mother of Jonathan and Juliet Klein. Henrietta Collin, the mother of Michael, grandmother of Richard. Frederica Ellison, the mother of Ruth. Theodor Haser, the grandfather of Jutta Haser-Schulz. David Hirsch, the brother of Rachel Rickeisen. Peter Keynes, the brother of Barbara Kohn. Sidney Plax, the husband of Greta and father of Benita and Vivian. We are saddened to share the news of the recent death of Sheila Kempner, the mother of Richard and Natasha, and of Rose Nathan, the sister of Sylvia Himes and aunt of Lynn. Zichronam livracha, may their memory be a source of blessing for us as we recite the words of Kaddish together. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, v'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lalmei almaya, יתברך וישתבח ויתפעל ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו, לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן דלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום, עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ועל כל בני אדם, V'imru. Amen. In a moment, we're going to conclude with Maya Hayom, and then we will gather for Kiddush. If you are a member or a friend of Northwood and Pinner Liberal Synagogue, you are welcome to join us in the Zoom room. The details are in our private hubs. Unfortunately, these days, not even the virtual space is 100% a safe space, so we can't share the Zoom details publicly. If you are not currently in our hub, but you are a friend of NPLS, you don't have to be a member, then if you do email us, we will be able to add you in the future. In the meantime, if you can't yet join the Zoom, then do just join us on our public Facebook page and our YouTube channel, where we'll be streaming from the Zoom room. And for those in the hub, the link is included in the title of this video, so you should be able to find it there.
And we invite you to join us later on for Havdalah at 5 p.m. And then on Monday we have a special event. It's Erev Yom HaShoah, and we're privileged that Bob and Anne Kirk will be speaking that evening before some very short prayers to conclude. Please do join us, and whether you've heard them before or not, and especially if you have children or grandchildren who are teenagers, please do encourage them to watch and experience this as well. It really is a very important opportunity for you to hear, for them to hear from Bob and Anne. And there's many other events in the week as well. I've seen so many on Facebook watching the service this morning who hopefully are going to be joining us for our Hebrew sessions on Tuesday evening, which will kickstart again post-Pesach.
Yes, so if you are already confident or semi-confident with your letters, then do feel free to join our intermediate course. Don't think you're not good enough. Everyone is always good enough. We go at the pace that works for everyone, and it's always a great pleasure to teach. If you are feeling like you'd rather work a little bit more on your letters, then do stick with Rabbi Aaron's session, which is the later one. Also, if you want to join us for Havdalah today,
absolutely,
at 5 o'clock, you can join us for Havdalah live on Facebook or YouTube or in our Zoom room.
Yafe hayom, Shabbat shalom. Yafe hayom, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Yafe hayom, Shabbat shalom. Yafe hayom, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. While we
Shabbat shalom.
move from one platform to the other, we'll see you in a moment for Kiddush.